My name is Meghan Trainor, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Growing up, my parents played me a wide range of music, anywhere from Earth, Wind and Fire to the soundtrack of Tarzan. So Phil Collins, and just hearing really well-written songs and great songs made me go to my bedroom for some reason and start writing. And I wanted to be a singer, but I thought every artist wrote all their songs. So I was like, well, I gotta get started. I didn't understand how cool songwriters were until I was in the business professionally. I got signed to a publishing deal here in Nashville, and my publishers would send me to LA, and I was like 18, 19, just going to writing sessions and meeting new people and learning new tricks from other writers. But I realized writers are superheroes. And some people, like I met the guy who wrote Yeah by Usher in LA, and he walked into this cafe we're all at, and I introduced myself, and I looked around and no one knew this guy wrote the jam of this year. I was like, that was my 6th grade. And that was when I realized how cool songwriters were. I remember when I was in Berkeley, the summer program, they had one songwriting class, and it was a songwriter speaking in the auditorium. And we all went there Monday morning, and she told us how she writes songs, and she was kind of teaching us. Like, I take my emotions, and then I write them down in my journal, and then I put it in a song. And I called my father after that first class, and I said, I'm doing it wrong, man. I was like, I get it. I'm here to learn, and I'm doing it wrong. He's like, you either have it or you don't. And made me feel a lot better that I did it differently. Like, I did melody first. I never wrote down feelings and put it in a song. But when it was time to choose go to college or be a professional songwriter in Nashville or LA, my parents were like, you will learn a lot more by doing than to learn about it. And we chose not to go to college. Yeah, writing songs is super awkward when you're just a writer in LA or Nashville. Like when I wrote the bass, it was kind of my first time ever hanging out with Kevin Kadish, this older man who had a baby and a wife. And I was complete opposite. I was a young 19-year-old girl just trying to write songs and travel the world. And we had to learn about each other. That's my favorite thing to do. Like, where'd you grow up? What's up with your life? How you doing? And we found we had a lot in common, which was nice. And with that, we wrote bass. We got into the subject of being overweight when we were growing up, or even a little bit, and being uncomfortable. And then we just wrote bass. But all songwriting sessions are super awkward. You never know when you're going to write magic with a stranger or not. And that was one of those days. I usually start with melodies because I'll be like brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden they pop in. And I think, is that a song? No, it's not a song. I'm going to record it on my phone, and one day I'll write this. So recently, because I don't have a lot of time to sit down and write anymore and just create it on the spot, but recently just it happens like that now. Concepts are the most important part of the song, I think. Melody is very important, how catchy it is, but also what you're talking about. So a lot of times I'll watch TV and I'll have the coolest concepts because of Grey's Anatomy Intense episode. Those are the coolest concepts. But my favorite concepts are ones that are relatable to all ages, and girls and boys. So I think that's why bass worked so well. Yeah, when we wrote All About the Bass, it's simple, but it was so hard to figure out how simple you should be, and it came down to just if Kevin and I liked it. No one else was in the room. No one else was involved. I was just a songwriter, and so was he. And like the chorus, at the time, every song on the radio had a big, ginormous chorus, like Roar by Katy Perry. And so when we wrote just All About the Bass and we took out the instruments on the chorus, we questioned it. We're like, because we heard from A&Rs too, like, you need a big chorus. You just have this All About the bass repeating 4 times. And I said, that's my favorite part of the song. And the first time we got that criticism, we both agreed, we're not changing this song. It's fine. It's great how it is. But that was the risk we took, being different from the radio songs. But it worked. I haven't written a lot since the album came out, but I remember I wrote the album just like I would write any other song. It was very normal, and I wasn't famous at the time. I was like, I like these songs, and they happened to work with the world, which is great. But I wrote one song on tour, and when I think about it, it's just like how I would write in my bedroom back in high school when I was writing there. I had my ukulele, and I wrote it in about a half hour, and now we're trying to get it in a movie, and it's you just made me realize I still write the same, which is cool. My favorite thing about writing the song and having it on my computer is sending it to everybody, sending it to my mom and my dad. Like, look, I did this today. It's so cool. I hope you like it. But another great feeling is when you're singing it to a huge crowd and they can sing back every single word, even the backgrounds. That's how far my fans will go. And they'll be singing it with me. And I tell them every time, you make a songwriter feel really good. So that's probably the best part, when everyone's singing the words. I want to collaborate with Bruno Mars so bad. I think he's great. He's very talented. He can perform, sing, write. He's awesome. I hope to be like a girl version of him one day when I'm older. Him definitely. I want to work with Stevie Wonder on something because I grew up listening to him a lot. And I want to do something country. I want to do it, I think, with Hunter Hayes, because he was one of the first. He wrote with me when I was like 18 and I had nothing. I was just a little songwriter. And he was willing to write with me, which is really cool because he was like this big new country star. Nashville has been the best decision of my life when I moved here at 19 because it was really cool when I performed at the CMAs because it was exactly a year after I moved. And my parents were helping me move out while we were doing the CMAs. And they both said, well, this was a good decision. Nashville taught me a lot about lyrics and songwriting, and they're very warm and welcoming, and it feels like a second home every time I'm here. Like when I drive from the airport, I'm like, okay, I'm going to my apartment, but I'm not. Now I'm going to hotels. When I first moved to Nashville, I was told by a lot of writers, like, make a vision board, and I was like, nah, I'm too lazy. I don't want to make a vision board. Josh Keir's wife, you know Josh Keir, big writer, his wife is the reason why I made a vision board. She came to our publishing office and showed all of us, here's why it helps, even if you don't believe it'll help. Like, it's very inspirational, and you wake up looking at your goals in life. And so I went home and I did it. I got a printer, and one of the first ones I put up was Grammys. And then I put up #1 song in the world, Billboard 100 charts. Like, I put everything up there. And in that 1 year, I pretty much achieved all of the pictures. So the Grammys, even though I didn't win it, was just the coolest moment of my life. And my father said it was the coolest moment of his entire life, was attending and seeing my name up there, nominated with all the other big, huge artists. Hey, I'm Meghan Trainor, and this is Grammy Pro.